What's up, people? It's your boy, Slime. In this video, I'm going to talk about the current American state we live in today when it comes to like careers. It seems like today in America that a lot of people are unfulfilled and pretty much depressed over their life choices. What happens most of the time, when you choose the wrong career path, it tends to bite you in the ass. And it tends to make us, change our mood. But I think what happens most of the time is that we weren't given the right information to get ahead. Like, a lot of people believe the school system is going to help you. I can tell you in most case scenarios, they don't give a damn about you. They don't care about you at all. Their job is to take your money and run, okay? If you get lucky, you may have like a mentor, or you may have some people who are successful that will guide you in the right path. But most of the time, most of us in America today, most of us had no guidance. You did whatever someone else did, but you didn't know how they did it. So you try to follow their path and you tend to fall, or you tend to like find yourself in a situation you never want to be in, So a lot of people today in America are unsuccessful today. And it's due to the fact that they made the wrong choices, I truly believe if people knew what they knew now, they would have made better choices. Like, for example, if medical school wasn't so hard to get into in the US, you would see more doctors, okay? Going through medical school is not the problem, because if you get in, it shows you're smart enough to be there, right? The problem is getting in. Getting into med school is the problem. Okay? Getting into med school is the problem. Same thing with law school. Okay? Going through law school is not really the problem. It is actually getting into law school is the problem. And another thing about law that's so crazy about it is that going to law school doesn't guarantee anything. You have to go to the top paying schools because it's through networking. Like, if you go to Duke University, you're guaranteed a hefty paycheck once you graduate. Because big companies are going to be trying to, sign you on real quick. Okay? When it comes to like the private sector in law, you're making a lot of money. The public sector doesn't make shit, because you're a public defender. You have more caseload than you can handle. So you don't have much time to deal with each client or deal with each of your defendants. You ain't got much time for that. So that's just the way it is. Engineering is a good field, but the problem with engineering today is that the engineering is so hard to get a job because the competition is fierce. Like, if you want to work at Google, you want to work at Facebook, or you want to work at like Toyota, right? All these big companies, the competition is so fierce, it's so high that you have to be the best of the best. You have to stand out. So, it's just one of those things. So the good thing about engineering is that you can start, if you know how to create your own product, you're pretty much self-employed. But that's just whatever. Living in America today, a lot of people today are misguided. They don't know what they're doing. Even me, myself. But now I know what I'm doing. But it took me most of my 20s to understand what I want to do with my life, because I never had any guidance. Like, no one guided me and said, hey, do A, B, and C, you'll be all right. But in America today, nobody tells you anything. It's like all the information you need to be successful is hidden. Nobody tells you anything. That is why today, if you look at it right now, many people are going for a second career in their 30s. People in their 30s are now changing careers. Because they used their 20s to do whatever they wanted to do. Things didn't work out, or they hate their career path. So they say, fuck it, I'm going to go back and do something else. So we are now in a cultural shift where you're using your 30s to make up for your 20s. If you understand what I'm talking about. This is what's going on. And it does play a big role in how we think and how we reason, because you're supposed to, this is how it was back in the 1900s, the early 1900s, and let's just say from 1900 through 1950, right? Around that time frame, okay? How it worked was like this. You go to school for 18 years not 18 years, but you start from kindergarten to grade 12, right? No, not grade 12, to high school, senior in high school, right? You're 18, right? Most of the time, after high school, people got married, or they went to college, or the military, right? So back then, if you went to college, it showed you were very smart, and companies were lining up to employ you. An associate's degree back then has so much power. So imagine if you had like a bachelor's or a master's. Companies were coming at you all the time. Come work for us, because it had value back then. So you can always take care of yourself, good career, good everything, right? So the whole point was this. When you're not 18, people got married from age 18 through 25, right? People got married, they had their children, right? So you have your children around that time frame. So by the time you become 40, or by the time you enter your mid 40s, you now have an empty nest. You see what I mean? So you now had your kids, right? So let's just say around age 25. Let's say 18, 19, 20. You had your kids, right? So by the time you become 40, or you become around 40 or your early 40s, your children are now 18, and they go off to get married, or they go on to college. So you now have an empty home in your 40s. So you and your partner or your wife can now enjoy yourself. You're still young. You still have things to accomplish. You can now do those things with no issue. That's how it was back in the day. That's why a lot of people knew their grandmothers or their great-grandparents when, you know what I mean? Because we had kids back then when we were younger. So people knew a lot of these things. So nowadays, it's totally different. Today, it's totally different. Now you're having the situation where people are not having kids when they're 18, 19, 20, but the man is no longer in the picture. So now you have the single mother epidemic coming along, okay? Then you have some men out there, or people in general, who are now having harder financial situations. So instead of them to finish college within like 4 years, some of them are taking breaks, some of them are taking time for internships, some of them are people take whatever they do. Now you're spending your youth on the wrong career, So you have to make it up in your 30s. You have situations where you're in a financial limbo, you're in debt. So you have those things going on. So now it's like many people today are now getting their careers in their late 20s, right? So now you have these people out here who are working in their late 20s. Now who are not working in their late 20s, and they now say to themselves, hey, I spent my 20s working hard, trying to achieve my goals. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy my youth. So guess what they do? The things they weren't able to do in their 20s, they are now going to do it in their 30s. For example, if you spent your 20s working on your career, working on your career, working on your finances, guess what happens? When you become financially stable, you are going to spend your early 30s traveling, meeting new people, trying new hobbies, because because you're making up for lost time. That's what's going on, because you're making up for lost time. So that's why you have people today who are having kids in their late 30s to early 40s now. We have now entered into this cultural shift. Everything today is now something else. And it doesn't really matter where you start. It only matters where you end. And that's the thing people need to understand. Some people go back to school in their 40s. Late 30s, early 40s, they go back to school to be a pharmacist, to be a lawyer, to be an entrepreneur. They go back. Because some people have said, I'm not going to live a miserable life. I want to enjoy myself. So people are taking the risk for a better tomorrow, and I respect them for it. A lot of people today don't have the balls to pursue their goals. Some people don't have the courage. Some people let other people dictate their lives, and they end up miserable. People think I'm making this stuff up. If you think I'm lying, go to Walmart. I can bet you anything on this earth. I can bet you anything you want that most people who work at the front end of Walmart are miserable. These Walmart greeters, please. These cashiers, come on now. They're not happy. They're miserable. They're miserable. They hate their job. See, a lot of people aren't too smart, and they settle for a basic life. Then they have the nerve to get angry at other people for chasing their goals. Look at Jeff Bezos, the richest man on the planet right now. He lives in the Seattle area. Okay, he lives in the Seattle area. He lives in the Seattle area. The richest man in the world lives in Seattle. He lives in the Seattle area, right? But see the thing though, some people don't know his history. He used to work on Wall Street. He moved all the way from New York with his wife to Bellevue, Washington area, right? To Bellevue, Washington. He moved there. Started Amazon. Lucky for him, it worked out. Lucky for him, it worked out. Okay? Look at this other person, Steve Jobs. People don't know this about Steve Jobs, is that he built Apple with his partner. They got an investor, right? So it's 3 people. Something happened, they had a fallout, and guess what happened to Steve Jobs? They kicked him out of the company. They kicked him out. He funded that company, or he started the company. They kicked him out. Guess what he did? Steve didn't give up. He built another company. I think he built Pixar. I think that company made Toy Story and all that shit. Apple bought that company and made him the CEO of the company after they bought his Pixar company. He didn't give up. So, but a lot of people don't understand that you don't have to settle for a basic life. That's why when I look at people nowadays, I have to know what you're doing for a living. Okay? I have no respect for the man who cries about other people's lives. You would be surprised that there's so many people out here who will literally try to stop you from achieving your goals. You'll be surprised. If you told somebody right now you want to be a musician, or if you told somebody right now you want to build your own company, I bet you money you will get more negative people around you telling you why it's not going to work. Those people are the ones who never accomplished anything. But the whole thing is this. A lot of people today are miserable. They hate their lives. They hate their jobs. Let me tell you what happens to a lot of people, right? A lot of people wake up too late. Let me explain what I mean. Let me explain what I mean by that. A lot of people wake up too late, in the sense where they realize they fucked up their lives. They realize they fucked up. They realized it. They realize they have no job stability. They realize that no one's gonna work with them. They realize this, right? So now they walk around bitter, they walk around angry, they walk around mad every day. Those are the people you have to avoid. Let me give you some advice. I don't talk to anybody who has no accomplishments. Okay? People who have no accomplishments, I don't talk to them. Not interested. Okay? If you're talking to me about what other people are doing, not interested. I don't want to hear your story. Not interested. Okay? What happens a lot of times, many people in America today are miserable. Many people in America are not happy. Many people today do not like their lives. Okay? So you have to understand that living in America today is so risky. And I say this because if most people around you are useless, who's going to encourage you? Sometimes in America, we are our own support system. No one's going to encourage you. No one's going to enlighten you. It's more like, I don't want him to make it. That's how it works in America today, bro. I don't trust Americans anymore. I just don't. I depend on me. I don't need anyone to make me happy. But I am very conscious of the people I surround myself with. Because living in America today has made me realize there's nothing for you out here. Nothing. And people can argue this point with me if they want. But I'm telling you for what I have learned. Living in America today, just gotta be careful who you surround yourself with. You'll be surprised how many people will secretly hate on you just because you're doing better than them. They will destroy your happiness because they can. Or, you know what I mean? They will. But, just be careful. Let me know what you think. Peace.